Welcome back to the Citizen Channel. We are all staying safe and well, and the FA Cup. Yes, we're through to the semi-finals again. We're going. Someone called it Anfield South, didn't they? But of course, we know it as the Etihad South, of course, and probably absolutely more realistic calling it that. Certainly the Anfield South. I'm sure the guy who called it that did it a bit tongue in cheek, but probably not, knowing Liverpool and their supporters and ex-players, etc. Southampton 1, Manchester City 4. Welcome to the match report, the quarter-final, of course, Sunday the 20th of March 2022. Kick-off 3 p.m, yeah, so a little bit of revenge for that pathetic sort of performance in January where we should have really beat them in the league. That's disappointing. We dropped a couple of points, didn't we? But obviously it came back to roost. So we're going to talk about that game. This game, the quarter-final game, not that one back in January. That's done and dusted. Not what we can do about that one, is there? So please join me. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, and please, you can give us a thumbs up. You make an old City fan very happy for these. Yeah, so let's have a look at this game. Yeah, I got 8 correct. I thought I was quite happy with that. Possibly the only one I would have still probably gone for would have been Fernandinho instead of Rodri, but obviously Pep made his decision. Perhaps based on the facts of having the back five, a good back five in front of Stefan to sort of help out. So he probably stuck more with Rodri rather than Ferner for that reason. But yeah, so I got 8. So I was all right with that. Obviously, I had Zinchenko in as well. And I'd started Foden in my 11 as well, so that was a slight difference. So the team we had out was Stefan, Walker, Aki, Stones, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan and KDB, Sterling, Jesus and Grealish. Of course, Mike Dean was in charge. Yeah, he was okay for us yesterday, wasn't he? Nothing exciting with the VAR guy yesterday, Mr. Andre Mariner. Nothing to get involved about. Let's go a quick match report. I've had a quick... Obviously, I've not had a chance to watch the game back. I was there yesterday, and I say I've not had a chance to actually watch back other than some brief highlights. So have a quick look at the match report now. So sort of a basis on the timeline and what happened yesterday and my memories coming into it, of course, as well. 9 minutes, a good City move involving Grealish and KDB. Fed Gundogan, didn't it? It was passed through to Sterling. Was pretty good, but he sliced it and went wide of the post. I remember that sort of just going wide. I've not had a chance to watch that back on highlights. Well, that was 9 minutes. But the Saints, it was a bit end-to-end that first half, wasn't it? Saints immediately hit back. Some great build-up play, some nice deft touches, actually. And it involving Romu at the end, who ends up feeding through Armstrong, and the ball looked as though it was going to go wide initially. Then it sort of went against, like a snooker table, perhaps against the rub of the green or whatever, the baize, if you like. It ended up hitting the post and was cleared, fortunately, by Stones. But it did look from where we were in the opposite end as though it was going to go in the net. So we were pretty chuffed about that. But it wasn't too long, was it? 12 minutes. As Jesus' cross, of course, wasn't dealt with properly, reacts to feed it back to Sterling, who calmly made it 1-0. That's what Sterling can do sometimes. Didn't get a lot of time to worry about it, just side-footed it in. That's what we want more of. He was a bit more hesitant, wasn't he, Sterling, throughout the game, apart from that. 24 minutes, another great chance for Saints, certainly, to equalise. Good work again by Romu, who was playing quite well. They were all playing quite well, I thought, that first. I'm making some little mistakes, but that's bound to happen. I mean, we were making plenty of them. His pullback in the box, Romu's pullback was powered home, won it by arms. I thought he could have done a lot better with that, in all fairness, well over the bar. And 27 minutes, our turn to hit the woodwork. Yes, Cancelo, some good move, a good City move, this one. And Cancelo finds Gundo at the near post. Perhaps it was easier to put it in than hit the post, but he hit the post. And Jesus reacted quickly, but his shot was blocked, of course. 35 minutes, not exactly a Rodri's rocket, but I think he won the ball or nicked the ball in midfield and piled forward, and his shot from distance was deflected wide for a corner. So it's just past the post again, the left hand, right, as we were behind the goal, the left-hand post, if you, from Rodri's point of view. And 47 minutes, I mean, just when I thought, oh, one of my bets has come in, hope to come in, City, obviously 1-0 up at half-time, still confident we'd win the game. I thought, there we go for charity, a little bit more money after a couple of dodgy weeks, and just laughable equaliser. Was Stefan at fault? I'm not too sure. Perhaps Stefan had to come out like that to sort of push Elyounoussi out. He forced him wide, didn't he? But the fact he couldn't then get back and his cross just literally hits Laporte's left boot and ends up in the net. I mean, we were just flabbergasted at the other end because we couldn't quite see what had happened. But it was a shocking time to let a goal in. A silly goal to concede, but perhaps no less than the Saints deserved, in all fairness, for that first half. Into the second half, yeah, we weren't. Distribution, Stefan wasn't great yesterday. That's put the jitters in our defence a little bit. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. But a poor sort of pass out is picked up after a good strong Saints press, and that's what they did. They realised obviously Ederson isn't in goal and Stefan isn't quite as good. So they pressed a lot harder perhaps than they did in certainly the league matches we played them. And Armstrong pulled it wide, fortunately, on 48 minutes. 52 minutes, a mini scramble in the box as Cancelo cross causes mini havoc, with the outside of his boot again. I noticed he did 2 or 3 of those yesterday. A couple of them came off okay, so we won't complain too much. Grealish works it to KDB, who shot his block. Yeah, a little bit of a scramble. It was certainly more scrambly than that sort of description. 60 minutes this time, Laporte plays a ball out badly. Yeah, Laporte was... he usually makes one mistake a game. We probably made 2, 3, 4 yesterday. Again, after the press. And Ward-Prowse, fortunately, shoots straight at Stefan, so that was pretty good. 61 minutes, well, Jesus does what he does best, wins penalties. A lot of time, when he falls over, it's ignored, but there is a shove, and he gets the penalty. And I say VAR didn't see anything to overturn it, so there we go, up steps. With no Mahrez on the pitch, so up steps Mr. KDB, who put it right in the corner, fortunately. I think it sort of more or less went under the hand of Forster. His big frame got across quite quickly, so he knew where it was going, that's for sure. Almost got a hand to it, but because KDB put it right in that corner, it was fine, so we got the goal. Substitutions very quickly by Pep. Didn't mess about this time, did he? Interesting subs as well. They both worked, didn't they? Foden for Grealish on 63 minutes. Mahrez for Jesus on 64. 71 minutes. Unbelievable stuff. As Stephanie's booked for wasting time. We've pointed this out time and time again. The amount of times it's happened to Ederson, where keepers can get away with blue murder against City and never get booked. Occasionally it does happen, but most of the time it doesn't. Forster's one of the worst ones. He wasn't too bad yesterday because they were always sort of chasing the game. So, but yeah, he's obviously a bit of messing about by Stefan, admittedly. But it doesn't take much for a City keeper to be booked and all the rubbish we have to put up with. So the refs are just crap, basically. They just don't know what they're doing. In all fairness, 73 minutes, a great block by Stefan, of course, to keep it 2-1, probably the save of the match. And I thought it was a good save. Wasn't literally. I think he positioned himself well, got out well to it. Another great ball by Elyounoussi, was it, to Adams, and he couldn't get it past Ederson. At crucial time, if that had been 2-2, then all hell would have been let loose. That's the 73rd minute. But 75 minutes, it was 3-1, and a mass exodus began by the Saints fans. And the Saints fans went marching out as we sung to them as they disappeared down the tunnel before throwing a few verbals and a few bad signs. It was, well, almost to a man. Every Saints fan did it, I think. I don't know what the reason is for this these days. I mean, you give and take it, don't you? But even had a 70-year-old guy at the end of the match offering the City fans, "Come on, meet me outside." Absolute garbage, absolute rubbish. He probably went straight back to his care home. We wouldn't have met anyone outside. But yeah, 75 minutes, 3-1. KDB chip his block, but Foden nicks it, didn't he? Sort of headed out, but he got it back. Lashes a great shot into the corner, giving Forster no chance. 78 minutes, it's 4-1. It's doubly game over, isn't it? No respite as Mahrez places a shot just inside the post. Looks as though he sort of was shaping to put it into the far post and totally bamboozled Forster as he went inside the near post. Some good work by Cancelo. Again, I think this was another one with the outside of his foot. And Gundogan. More subs in wonderful Zinchenko for Cancelo on 82, Ferner for Rodri on 82, Aki for Laporte on 82. And on 87 minutes, almost 5, but Mahrez's shot just trickles wide. So comprehensive, really. Key stats, these are interesting, actually, guys. Shots 13 by Southampton, 3 on target. That's a lot. We don't usually give up that many shots. And 19 shots for City, which is okay, and 6 on target. Not a total disaster. Possession was 65% for City, but look at this pass completion rate, one of the lowest I've seen, certainly this season. possibly the lowest. I might, I'm not going to go back and check every game, but Southampton's pass completion percentage was 72%, but City was just 82. Forget average for City is about 90. That was awful, and I thought that would have, because the actual distribution and passing yesterday, so many balls went out for throw-ins, and which were intercepted. It was absolutely crass, and there are reasons. We'll touch upon that in the end when we sum up City. Right, on to the player ratings. Let me know your ratings, guys, whatever you think you're thinking. As I said, I've not had a chance to watch it back, so I've sort of acknowledged what Stuart Brennan's has said and have a little thought. As I said, I've watched brief highlights of the game. So please forgive me if they're not quite what you think, but this was just my impression of being at the game and what was happening. I'm trying to remember how many times I moaned at City players. that's what I try and do. So Stuart Brennan's for the Evening News. I'll start at 6.5. I usually go for a 7 when it's a comprehensive victory, but I think this certainly wasn't comprehensive until about 75th minute, was it? So I'll start with a 6.5. The City players did better, they'll get better than that. If I thought they did okay, they'll get the same. If I thought they did worse, they'll get less, and then I have one or two who got worse. Right, I'll read Stuart's thoughts and then add mine. Zach Steffen, Stuart said, solid on crosses, cool and calm footwork. I don't think he was, Stuart. A vital save from Adams, it certainly was. So Stuart's given him a 7. I'm just going to give us the standard 6.5. I'll give him the standard for that crucial block at 2-1, but he didn't. For me, his distribution, and he made the whole defence look a bit nervy at times. And I think the back four felt a little bit of pressure because there was a couple of even loose little passes across the 6-yard box where Walker had to sort of recover it, or Stones had to sort of move slightly different to where the ball went because he wasn't confident at all. I'd have to disagree with Stuart on that one. Kyle Walker, his pace and strength were key in stifling Saints' attacks down City. Right, absolutely. Stuart's given me 7. I give him a 7. That pace, I mean, no one can beat. I mean, he still got it, and he was there doing it and using it all the match. All right, not so much going forward, but I want him there back defending anyway when we're not having a great defensive display. That'll do for me. John Stones, Stuart said, making a strong case to be first choice. Again, should always be first choice in my mind. Calm and collected, used the ball well. So Stuart's given me 7. I give him a 7. At the centre half partnership, Stones was certainly the better. I think he might have misplaced a pass or two, but I've not seen anything on that when I've been looking at the brief highlights. But I thought overall he was a lot calmer than his mate, who now we're going to talk about now. I'm Eric Laporte, of course. Unfortunate for the own goal, says Stuart, but some of his passing decision making was off key. It certainly was, as I said. He usually makes a rick every game. I counted at least 3, perhaps 4 yesterday. So he's given him a 6. I've just given him a 5.5. I thought he's very nervy. On another day, we may have been punished more than we were. João Cancelo, some great attacking moments, says Stuart, outweighed the defensive uncertainty. Well, that's what you get. That is Cancelo in a nutshell, so that's what you get. Stuart's given him a 7. I give him a 7. I was almost going to give him a little bit less, but once I watched some of the brief highlights, he was involved in a lot of the positive stuff we did. So I have given him a 7. And we just do have to accept his defensive frailties as long as that good approach play is leading to chances, and it certainly did yesterday. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Rodri, Stewart said, gradually took a firm grip on the centre of the park with a combination of strength and cute passing. Stewart's given him a 7. I'm only giving him a 6 because I just remember thinking, Rodri, what are you doing? 2 or 3 times during that game where he just a poor ball, or just didn't control, or just didn't do something right, or a poor ball forward. And not that the Southampton guys had done anything special. It was just really poor. So I will give him a 6. I think he got better as the game went on, but obviously as Southampton stuttered a little, as he tired, it was bound to happen. But no, I just some loose passes, and say Burner came on for him late on, but yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. Please let me know what you think, guys. I know I always get accused of having a go at Rodri, but as I said, I do remember being a little bit frustrated with him at the game. Ilkay Gundogan patches City together beautifully, says Stuart, when he plays. Great assist for Mahrez. He's given him an 8. I've got to give him a 7.5. Great solid display. Perhaps should have scored. But a great solid effort in midfield. Kept us ticking along, as Stuart said. Kevin De Bruyne, well, first pressing, fine passing, the nerve to step up for the penalty to make it 2-1. He's given an 8. I'm not going to disagree with an 8. I thought he was excellent. Worked hard as he has been for the last 3, 4, 5 months when it's not been quite kicking in properly, but he's been working his socks off, let's say. I won't swear, working his socks off, and he worked his socks off yesterday and added some great little chances with that as well, some great silky skills. So I'll take that all day long, 100% from KDB. I just hope he doesn't run himself into the ground and pick up an injury or something like that. And a good pen right in the corner, so it had to be to beat Forster, and he did, fortunately. Gabby Jesus Stewart said his last act was to switch to the central role, and his enterprise earned the penalty. Also assisted the first goal. Yeah, absolutely. Again, he's given a 7. I give him a 6.5. I just thought, okay, there's certain things he didn't do correctly, but he was always a nuisance and certainly stressed out that Saints defence to the point of gifting us a pen. So I'll take that from Gabby. Raheem Sterling, so much threat, says Stewart, but he really should have scored more than once with the chances he had. 7, I'll give him a 7. A bit of an upturn on his last 3 or 4 games, that's for sure. But some of the old faults are there, not knowing when to pull the trigger. But he got a goal, so I'm not going to quibble with that. He got 1 goal. Perhaps he could have had 2 or 3. But he needs to learn just to pull the trigger a bit quicker or make decisions a bit quicker. But I mean, is he ever going to learn at this stage? Possibly not. He's not a young lad, is he, anymore? Jack Grealish carried a threat in the first half, says Stuart, but it diminished. And his failure to shoot when handed a chance was a mystery. Another one of his poorer games for me. You know, I'll bang the drum for Jack all the time. But Stuart's given him a 5. I've just given him a 5.5. Nothing went that well. He kept at it, but he didn't have the greatest game yesterday. The subs, Riyad Mahrez for Jesus, 63. Another goal, says Stuart. Absolutely. 7 he's given. I give him a 7. Made a difference when the Saints were struggling, and he helped make that difference at the end to seal the game. Same for Phil Foden. Stuart's given him a 7. I give him a 7 as well. He came on for Grealish on 63 minutes. A great goal, a scorcher, said Stuart. Exactly the same sentiment as Mahrez. Not what the Saints wanted to see at that stage of the game, and both he and Foden and Mahrez made a good impression, and sort of just bullied them out of it and got the goals. Nathan Aki for Laporte, no time to mark. He came on 83. Ferner, no time to mark. And the man of the match, yes, I'm going to KDB by a long way. I mean, obviously not by the scores, but I thought KDB was outstanding yesterday, and I think he was the man of the match on TV as well. So can't argue with that. Overall record now against Southampton in the FA Cup. We played 4, won 3, lost 1, scored 13, and had 7 goals against us. Southampton going forward, they thoroughly deserve to be level at half time. They played very well. That press really worked. And he says that they sort of helped make it one of City's lowest ever pass completion rate, certainly this season, and a testament to how well they played. As always, the problem is consistency. Some little defensive errors which cost them, little defensive errors that may have fell, for one of their players on another day. But obviously, if City get men in the box, there's a chance we'll pick up on these errors. So I'm quite happy with that. But it is consistency. I was having a chat to some Southampton fans before the game, and that's the problem. They can look very, very good against some of the top teams, but they do, when they play a lesser team, they are struggling just a little bit to have that impetus. So 11th in the league is about their level. So, as they go on, obviously no trip to Wembley for them, which is unfortunate. Well, fortunate for us, not for them. But I think 11th in the league is going to be about their position of 10th, 11th, 12th. I can't see any much change for that. As I said, as they went marching out with the fans. Fans were okay. Fans were fine until, obviously, things went badly. And they've got these boards at the back, and they use them like drums. So you don't just have one drum. You have about 30 guys banging the boards at the back of the stand. And it's sometimes it's louder than the singing, because that's how it is. But, good atmosphere. They did very, very well. But they did desert the place after about 33 minutes for some unknown reason. They all went out down the tunnel after in that, and obviously on 75 minutes when our third goal went in, they all sort of suddenly deserted them. But overall, they did okay. I think they had a lot of tourists there. Yes, touristy Southampton fans, let's say that, who perhaps don't get to many games. But the crowd 29,000, a little bit down. I don't think it was quite a sellout. There's still saw a few empty seats in the Southampton bit, that's for sure. Anyway, Southampton, they are, played very well for most of that game. Certainly had us worried for a long time. As far as City, I thought we struggled with that press, and I think they know when Stefan's in goal, we're not quite as efficient, are we? We're not quite as efficient sort of passing that ball around the back. And we do, of course, miss Diaz. Diaz's leadership, we'll need that back very, very quickly. And say we need that back for the run into the season, of course. I like Stefan, don't get me. Stefan is a good. He made that great, crucial save. But for me, going forward, certainly in the FA Cup, which is what we're talking about today, we want to win that FA Cup and get past at least Liverpool in semi-final. I wouldn't play Stefan, but he probably will. Personally, I wouldn't. I don't. I think our system is based on Ederson, and Stefan is not. He's not even 50% of what Ederson does in that sort of system. And I'm not saying he's not a decent shot stopper. Not decent at coming in for crosses, stuff like that. But I think our whole system, City's whole system, is based on what we do from the back. And Stefan isn't Ederson, and if as long as he plays in this instead of Ederson, we will be a weaker team. That's my impression. Let me know what you think, guys. That's what I think. And as I said, Diaz, get him back fit. Don't rush him back. Get him back fit as soon as we can. If it means he misses the Burnley game and comes back for a couple of the other, obviously for the Liverpool game, great. But let's get Diaz back as well. We need his presence and his leadership. I think we do like Stones is a great player, but he doesn't sort of have the leadership. Him or Laporte have the leadership qualities of course, of Diaz. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you thought of the game. Anyway. Please, obviously, City on a break. This Citizen channel isn't. I'm never on a break. I'm always doing stuff, putting stuff out there for you. Please support me if you can over the next couple of weeks before the next game. Of course, there will be a preview, an odd show, and a History Boys feature for the upcoming Burnley game. But in the meantime, I'll be getting that part 2 of the Nigel de Jong Boys of 11-12 out. I'll be getting that out over the next few days. And, of course, the March City quiz will be coming out, and one or two other nice things over as well, nice one or two specials, as well as a couple of regular features over the next few days as we build up, as we enjoy a little break from football, don't we? But as I say, we never have a break on here on the Citizen channel. There's always stuff coming out. And before that 2nd of April trip away to Burnley. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you got to say. Please let me know what your thoughts on yesterday's game and any thoughts, player ratings, anything like that. Anything you want to let me know, just drop me a line, DM me, put it under this in the comments section, and of course, I always do my best to answer it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other till we meet here again on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.